Hey guys, and welcome to ComicsBoi, a channel where I take your favorite comic book heroes and tell you stories involving them whenever an arc is complete. Today we look at the recently completed Marvel event, Civil War II. The story will be divided into two parts because it is massive, and the second part will have Steve Rogers issue 5 and 6 as they have big reveals for the story. The story opens up with a boy named Ulysses running away, screaming for it to stop. He hears his name and turns around to see the Inhuman royal family. They tell him they can help. This is a good thing. We then cut to the Avengers of A&AD Marvel. It's completely different from the movies. The team is Tony Stark, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Nova, and Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. The five of them look around to see the destruction caused by this massive celestial in the sky. They then hear thunder, and that means Thor is on the scene. And that also means it's time. Everyone is here. We see heroes punch through every celestial. Every hero in the Marvel Universe is here fighting this giant. We see the sorcerers, Doctor Strange, Dr. Voodoo, Scarlet Witch, Magic. Everyone is here, and then they activate a spell. The other heroes fall back. The celestial is gone. Carol tells Tony drinks are on him, and Tony says that drinks are definitely on him. We then see at the part everyone is at the party. Tony then thanks the Inhumans for warning them about all of this and tells everyone to enjoy. She-Hulk then asks Carol Danvers how the Inhumans knew about this, and she says she doesn't know. Carol, Tony, Steve, Peter, and multiple others all ask Medusa, Queen of the Inhumans, how they knew this was going to happen. And she tells them to follow her. They then introduce her to Ulysses. And they find out that Ulysses is an Inhuman that can tell the future. Jean Grey comes in to read Ulysses' mind, and she finds out that she can't read it. Carol Danvers tells Ulysses to read the Ultimates. Carol Danvers tells Ulysses that the Ultimates could use him to stop threats before they even happen. But Tony questions the probability ratio is unknown, and what if his visions can't be trusted? Tony also raises a question on whether they should lock people away before they do the crime. Carol tells Tony she thought he was a futurist, and Tony says that's exactly why he thinks they should let the future happen and not try to change it. The night after, while sleeping, Ulysses gets a vision, and he says they need to call the Ultimates now. We then cut to Tony's office where the holographic body of Friday is showing him that his new suit, Self Mode, is insane. We then see his assistant Mary Jane Watson come in and tell Tony that Rhodey is dead. Tony arrives at the Triskelion, the headquarters for the Ultimates, and barges through the people till he finds a dead body of Rhodey and a destroyed War Machine costume. He demands to know what happens, and then Black Panther mentions Carol Danvers putting a task force to. Tony screams for Carol, demanding to know where she is. And then he sees her in a room with a severely injured She-Hulk on a bed. When Tony asks what happened, Carol says Thanos. Tony looks shocked. Thanos attacked you guys? Maria Hill tells them. They attacked Thanos. Carol tells Tony that they knew Thanos was going to be there because he thought the Cosmic Cube was there. And Tony stopped her. How did she know? Carol tells him that the Inhuman told them where Thanos would attack. Tony tells her that she killed his best friend. It's her fault. Carol says she loved Rhodey too. They were dating, but he was a soldier. And if he had a chance to do it again, he would. And so would the entire Ultimates team. Tony asks where Thanos is, and Carol says one cell below. Tony storms and screams, I'm going to make sure none of you ever play God again. Carol screams his name, but he's gone. She-Hulk begins to whimper and tells Carol to fight for it. And then the beeping noises come from the heartbeat detector attached to She-Hulk. Tony enters New Attilan, the land of the Inhumans, to capture Ulysses. As he begins to approach the Inhuman, Medusa tells him not to do it. Carol warned Medusa that Tony would come, and Tony tells her they need to find out more about this Inhuman. Medusa's hair reaches out and begins to grab Tony, and tells him they can discuss it when his mind is clear. But Tony then electrocutes Medusa as she flies out the room. Karnak, another member of the Inhuman royal family, sees Stark and begins to charge towards him. Tony Stark dodges the punches before blasting Karnak away. Crystal, another Inhuman, blasts Tony with electricity. But that just gives him more power. The suit explodes. But Stark wasn't in it. He used the suit as a gateway to distract them while he escaped with Ulysses. Medusa says Stark has just declared war. We then see Carol Danvers tell Director Hill to send some agents to Stark Tower. Hill says there is no way that Stark is there right now, but Carol says she knows, but the Inhumans probably are. Black Panther, being a king, says that Tony attacked Medusa's people and forced her hand. They aren't going there for Stark. They're going there to stop Karnak from pulling down the building. Karnak is furious and threatens Friday that he will pull the entire building down before Carol Danvers arrives and tells him to stop. Carol tells Medusa that all of them have lost people. She just needs one chance to find Tony Stark and end all of this. Ulysses wakes up tied to a chair and Tony Stark right over him. Tony demands he show him one of his visions, and Ulysses says it doesn't work like that. He doesn't control them, they just happen. And then Tony flicks his head for brainwaves. Ulysses asks what Tony wants, and Tony tells him he's about 90% sure that he is about to go to war with his friends over Ulysses, and he wants to know everything about him that he needs to know. So he's finding out how the powers work, while Jessica Jones and Dakota North are doing some digging on whether he has any racial, sexual, or political bias. Ulysses says he's never thought about that, and Tony says not many people do. Then the others arrive. Tony unties Ulysses and asks him to pretend like they're having fun. Thor's hammer breaks the wall, and the heroes walk in. As the heroes begin to argue with Tony, Ulysses has a vision of the Hulk killing everyone, and everyone felt it. We then see Captain Marvel approach Bruce Banner in his office. The next issue opens off with Matt Murdock, Daredevil, calling the first witness of the events of July the 19th. And Carol Danvers comes up. She says she was part of a bunch of superheroes that went to calm down Bruce Banner. Tony Stark also pops up in Banner's lab, and they both say they're here to help him. They don't want to do anything bad, and they should probably go outside. Bruce walks out to see every superhero out there. The court then calls Tony and asks what Banner's initial reaction was, and Tony says, complete bafflement. Carol explains to Banner that this Inhuman can predict the future and make visions to show people, and he saw Banner brutally kill everyone. Banner asks Tony if this is what happened, and he says yes, it was bad. Back to the court, Carol explains that they told Bruce what was going to happen, and they prevented it from happening. The court official asks if everyone agreed to this. Carol then explains that she and Tony told Bruce about the moral dilemma that superheroes were having, and Bruce says what kind of proof after Carol says they need more proof to attack. Back to the court, Carol says they made Beast hack Banner's servers and look at what he was working on. Beast walks up to Banner and tells him he's experimenting on himself again. Why? Banner screams. His work was helping keep the Hulk away. He hasn't hulked out in a year. Banner begins to panic. Maria Hill decides on arresting Banner, and that's when Banner begins to scream. His eyes glow green, but then he gets shot by an arrow. Thor rushes to the trees with Spider-Man and Sam Wilson, Captain America. Thor begins to yell at Carol, saying that he didn't want this. Banner was his friend. And then we find out Clint Barton killed Banner and handed himself in right afterwards. Barton was in the court. Steve Rogers approaches Hawkeye and asks why he did it. And in the courtroom, Hawkeye says, because Banner told him to. We then see a meeting between Banner and Barton months ago, where Banner tells him that he hasn't hulked out in a year. He gives Barton a formula that will kill Banner. He tells Barton to use it before he hulks out. Barton says that he won't kill Bruce, but Bruce tells him that he has to. It's the only way of saving the world if he goes out of control. Barton says that there were no other witnesses, but he hopes his previous hero record will make the judges believe him. We see multiple heroes watching the trial on TV. Beast is then called to the stage. He reveals a video of Banner admitting that he asked Barton to murder him, and that's when Matt Murdock loses it. But he didn't Hulk out! Barton says that he could see it in his eyes, but Tony says he didn't see the Hulk. He saw a betrayed man. Carol then says that she believes millions of lives were saved, and even Banner would agree. She also says that they have been using the Inhuman to great success and have stopped multiple crimes. Tony stops everything and claims Barton killed a hero on his own lawn before he could even do anything bad. We then go back to the day and we see Tony is screaming at Carol, saying she had to chase this with a chance of it being false. Her pushing Banner led to this, and he asks, who's next on her hit list? They're about to reveal the verdict as Mary Jane, Tony Stark's assistant, asks whether he wants to look at the verdict, but he says he knows that Barton's going out free. Friday then says that they have the details on how Ulysses' brain works, and the AI shows Tony and Mary Jane. Captain Marvel arrives at the Triskelion to hear that She-Hulk is alive. She goes to see her and asks about everything she remembers. She-Hulk tells her, and then Carol tells her that Bruce is dead. She-Hulk demands to know who did it, and then Carol says, Hawkeye. The verdict just came in. He's not going to jail. We see fury in She-Hulk's eyes. We then see Tony talk about how time is a construct that can't be predicted. Ulysses has felt so much. How could that not affect him? So if the visions are affecting him, he's affecting the visions. He's affecting the visions. And he takes in everything he hears and he spits them out at them. He spits out theories. His visions are guesswork. While these are happening, Ulysses has a vision that a woman has a bomb in her briefcase, and Carol Danvers goes to stop it. But the bomb isn't in the woman's briefcase, who is also apparently in Hydra, the woman. And Carol goes up to Ulysses and shows him this. Tony then tells the person he's talking to if he's wrong. He can make Tony stop, because after all these years, Tony says he will listen to Steve Rogers, the man he was talking to. Around him, we also see the Inhumans, Beast, Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, T'Challa, and Captain Marvel. Steve asks Tony if he's sure he's right, and he says yes. Carol says she won't believe Tony until Beast checks the data. Beast checks it and says Tony's right. Carol and Tony begin to argue again until Carol says that Rhodey would agree with her. Tony says that she killed him, and then Carol launches herself away. Carol, Black Panther, Director Hill all wait outside the supposed Hydra agent, and Carol begins to go in and force her into admitting. She had no idea what Carol was talking about, and Carol leaves frustrated before Nightcrawler comes in and takes the girl away. Carol screams and says she is going to arrest Tony Stark. Director Hill says he's on the rooftop, and she makes her way with Black Panther and multiple other heroes. We then see that every superhero that joined Carol or Tony are lined up, ready for battle. Tony with the stronger team, obviously, and he does point that out. Carol smiles and says she has friends all over the galaxy, and then the Guardians pop onto the scene, and the two teams charge at each other. That's it for the first part of Civil War 2. Make sure you stay tuned. Tomorrow will be part 2. It'll also include the Steve Rogers tie-in. Thanks. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and see ya!